A Father's Regret and Redemption. Chapter 1. A Warm Home. My name is Nayla, and I'm sharing this story for my YouTube channel, a place where I hope to connect with you through tales of love, loss, and lessons learned. This is a story about Michael, a man who had everything, a loving family, a cozy home, until a single mistake unraveled it all. It's a story of heartbreak, regret, and the long road to redemption, crafted to touch your hearts and maybe teach a few English words along the way. Michael was 38, a hardworking mechanic who lived in a small town with his wife, Clara, and their 2 children, Lily 15 and Noah 12. Their life wasn't perfect, money was tight, the house needed repairs, but it was filled with warmth. Clara was the heart of their home, always humming while she cooked, her laughter filling the rooms. She'd braid Lily's hair, help Noah with his science projects, and greet Michael with a kiss when he came home covered in grease. Their evenings were simple, dinners around a creaky table, telling stories, playing cards, or watching old movies. Michael felt like the luckiest man alive. This, he'd think, watching Clara tuck the kids into bed, is what love looks like. Chapter 2. A Sudden Illness. One chilly November evening, Michael dragged himself home, exhausted and unwell. A persistent cough had plagued him for days, and his body ached. His coworkers at the garage had noticed, saying, "Mike, you sound awful, get to a doctor." Clara, stirring a pot of soup, took one look at him and frowned. "You're pale," she said. "What's wrong?" Michael shrugged, mumbling about a tough day, but the cough betrayed him. "You're going to the doctor," Clara insisted, her voice firm but kind. Too tired to argue, he nodded. "Tomorrow, I promise." The kids burst through the door, Lily chattering about a school dance, Noah showing off a model rocket. Michael's heart swelled watching them. He caught Clara's eye and she smiled, that familiar warmth making him feel safe. "We're okay," he thought. "We've got each other." The next morning, Michael visited the clinic. The doctor, concerned, ordered a chest x-ray. The results were grim: pneumonia. "You need to be admitted to the hospital," the doctor said. Michael protested. He hated hospitals and who would cover his shifts, but the cough was relentless and Clara's worried face flashed in his mind. He agreed, packing a small bag and settling into a hospital room with a view of the snowy town. Chapter 3. A Dangerous Attraction. Hospital, Michael was restless. He tried reading a worn paperback, but his mind wandered. Then the door opened and a nurse walked in. "Michael Thompson?" she asked, her voice soft. He nodded, caught off guard by her presence. Her name tag read Sophie. She was in her late 20s with warm brown eyes and a gentle smile that needed no adornment. Her dark hair was pulled back and her calm demeanor put him at ease. "The doctor says rest and antibiotics," she explained, checking his chart. "You'll be here a few days." Michael barely heard her words, his eyes fixed on her. His heart raced in a way it hadn't in years. Is this what falling in love feels like? He wondered, ashamed of the thought but unable to shake it. Over the next 4 days, Sophie was his nurse, checking in with updates, adjusting his IV, offering kind words. He learned she was engaged to a man named Tom, who sometimes picked her up after her shift. Michael watched them from his window, a pang of jealousy twisting in his chest. He told himself it was nothing, but he couldn't stop thinking about her. On his last day, desperate to stay connected, he said, "Sophie, could I have your number, just in case I have questions about my recovery?" She hesitated, then scribbled it down. "Only for medical stuff," she said with a polite smile. Michael's heart leapt as he tucked the paper into his pocket. Chapter 4. A Growing Obsession. Back home, Clara welcomed him with a hug and a hot meal, but Michael felt distant. His thoughts were consumed by Sophie, her smile, her voice. He barely noticed Clara's efforts to make him comfortable or the kids' excitement to have him back. At night, he'd lie awake, replaying every interaction with Sophie, convincing himself it was more than it was. A week later, unable to resist, he texted her. "Hey, it's Michael from the hospital. I think I need a follow-up shot. Can you help?" Sophie replied professionally. "You can get that at the clinic, but I can come by if it's easier." Michael's pulse quickened. He asked her to come when Clara was at her part-time job and the kids were at school. "It's just easier this way," he told her, lying to himself about his intentions. When Sophie arrived, Michael opened the door, his heart pounding. Without thinking, he stepped forward, wrapped his arms around her, and kissed her. Sophie froze, then pushed him away. "What are you doing?" she gasped, her face flushed with shock. "This is wrong," Michael stammered. "I thought I felt something," but before he could finish, the front door creaked open. Clara stood there, her face pale. She'd come home early, feeling unwell. She saw everything: Michael's arms around Sophie, the nurse's stunned expression. The air grew heavy with silence. Clara didn't yell or cry. She turned to Sophie, her voice steady. "You should go." Sophie, trembling, nodded and left without a word. Chapter 5. A Family Shattered. Clara faced Michael, her eyes cold. "I don't need to hear excuses," she said. "I'm taking the kids, we're done." Michael tried to speak, to explain, but the words caught in his throat. Clara moved with quiet resolve, packing bags for herself and the children. Lily and Noah, confused and tearful, asked why they were leaving. "We need some time away," Clara said, shielding them from the truth. By evening, the house was empty. Michael sat at the kitchen table, the silence deafening. He checked his phone, no messages, no calls. Clara wouldn't answer. Sophie didn't respond to his frantic apologies. He poured a glass of whiskey, ate a slice of bread, and stared at a photo of his family, their smiling faces mocking his mistake. "What have I done?" he whispered, tears falling. He thought of Clara, her patience, her love, the way she'd hum while folding laundry. He thought of Lily's dreams of becoming an artist, Noah's endless questions about the stars. He'd had everything, and in a moment of weakness, he'd thrown it away for a fantasy. Sophie's kindness wasn't love, it was her job. But Clara's love had been real, and he'd betrayed it. Chapter 6. Living with Regret. Days turned into weeks. Michael's life became a cycle of work and solitude. The garage felt emptier, his coworkers' chatter fading into background noise. He stopped drinking, the taste of whiskey now tied to his shame. He wrote letters to Clara, pouring out his regret, but they went unanswered. He saw Lily and Noah on weekends, but their visits were strained. "Why did Mom leave?" Noah asked once. Michael couldn't bring himself to tell the truth. He tried to rebuild, to be better. He joined a community group, fixing cars for neighbors in need. He started therapy, confronting the selfishness that led to his mistake. But the house remained quiet, the absence of Clara's laughter and the kids' footsteps a constant reminder of his loss. Chapter 7. A Glimmer of Hope. 6 months later, Michael sat in a coffee shop, waiting for Clara to drop off the kids. She agreed to meet briefly to discuss their schedules. When she arrived, she looked tired but strong, her eyes guarded. "Clara," Michael said, his voice low, "I know I don't deserve forgiveness, but I'm trying to be better. For you, for the kids, for me." She studied him, silent, then said, "I see you're trying, Michael, but trust is hard to rebuild." He nodded, respecting her distance. "I'll keep trying," he said. "I'll wait as long as it takes." Clara gave a small nod, then left. It wasn't much, but it was a start, a crack of light in the darkness. Over the next year, Michael kept his promise. He showed up for every visit with Lily and Noah, bringing art supplies for Lily, books about space for Noah. He didn't push Clara, but he sent her messages, not pleading, but honest. "I'm working on myself," he'd write. "I hope you're okay." Slowly, Clara began to respond, short messages at first, then longer ones. She saw his changes, no more drinking, no more lies, just steady effort. Chapter 8. A Second Chance. One spring afternoon, Clara asked Michael to meet her at the park. The kids were playing nearby, their laughter echoing. "Michael," she said, "I've watched you this year. You're not the man who hurt me. You're trying, and the kids need their father, not just for visits, but for real." She paused, her voice softening. "I'm not ready to move back, but I'm willing to try again." Slowly. Michael's eyes filled with tears. "Thank you," he whispered. "I won't let you down." Clara nodded, a faint smile breaking through. Lily ran over, hugging them both, and Noah followed, grinning. It wasn't a perfect family, but it was theirs, rebuilt on honesty, effort, and second chances. Chapter 9. A Lesson Learned. Now Michael's life is different. He and Clara are working things out, living separately but spending time together as a family. He's learned that love isn't about fleeting feelings or beauty. It's about commitment, trust, and showing up, even after mistakes. He's grateful every day for Clara's strength, for his children's love, and for the chance to make things right. This is Michael's story, a tale of pain, regret, and redemption. If you're watching, maybe you've made mistakes or felt the sting of betrayal. Know that you're not alone. Love can hurt, but it can also heal if you're willing to change. Thank you for listening. If this story touched you, please like, subscribe, and share. Let's build a community where we learn from our mistakes and grow stronger together. I'll see you in the next story with love and hope.